Business Essentials Podcast. Unlock your career.
Learn to speak business English like a pro.
What if skipping one uncomfortable conversation cost you hundreds of thousands over your career? I'm Marcus, and today we're cracking salary negotiation, where 55% of people never ask, yet those who do score 18.83% more, with B2 to C1 phrases to make that ask confidently.
Hey Marcus, love tackling this.
Sarah, your negotiation intel is career-changing. Come to have you showing everyone how to close their pay gap. So why do talented professionals keep leaving massive money on the table?
Here's what's fascinating. 55% of workers never attempt salary negotiation, just accepting first offers. Yet 66% who do negotiate successfully get what they ask for, with an average increase of 18.83% above original offers.
18.83%? So one conversation literally pays dividends for decades, but fear keeps most from even trying. That's leaving serious wealth behind.
Over a 30-year career, failing to negotiate that initial salary offer can result in a cumulative lifetime earnings loss of $300,000 to $500,000.
So basically, one conversation could be worth $500,000?
One conversation you could finish in 30 minutes. But most people don't do it because of one simple myth, that negotiating is risky, that they'll lose the job offer.
And is that true?
Not at all. 94% of negotiated salary offers remain intact after negotiation attempts. Offers get rescinded in fewer than 1% of cases. Employers expect you to negotiate.
So what's really stopping people?
Fear of sounding greedy, lack of preparation, and for women, there's an additional challenge. Professional women now negotiate at rates equal to or exceeding men. 54% of women MBA graduates versus 44% of men. But the pay gap persists at 22%.
Wait, so women are asking more but still earning less?
The problem isn't that women don't ask, they do. It's that when they ask, they're rejected 22% more frequently than men requesting identical increases with identical market justification.
That's a structural problem then.
Which is why understanding the psychology and having the right language matters so much.
Okay, so let's drill down into the strategy. What's the biggest mistake people make?
For our listeners learning English, drill down into is a great phrase. It means to examine something in detail. You'd use it in meetings when you want to analyze data or understand root causes. The biggest mistake is accepting the first offer without any negotiation. You receive an offer for $65,000 and you immediately say, "Yes, I accept," without discussion. You've just left $12,000 to $18,000 on the table in your first year alone.
And that compounds over time.
Because every future raise is a percentage of that base salary, so that initial gap never closes. It grows.
So what should people do instead?
You need to create negotiation space while maintaining professionalism and enthusiasm. Here's the exact phrase. "Thank you for the offer. I'm genuinely excited about this opportunity. Before I accept, I'd like to discuss the compensation. Based on my research and the value I'll bring, I was expecting something closer to $72,000 to $75,000. Are you open to discussing this?"
So you're not demanding, you're inviting discussion.
And that framing is critical. Research shows that 85% of hiring managers expect and respect candidates who negotiate, particularly those who support their requests with market research.
So let's talk about preparation. What does that actually look like?
Preparation accounts for 40 to 50% of negotiation success before you even open your mouth. You need 3 things: market research, documented achievements, and clarity on your BATNA.
For our listeners learning English, what does BATNA actually mean?
BATNA stands for Best Alternative to Negotiated Agreement. Basically, it's your plan B, what you'll do if this negotiation doesn't work out. Knowing your BATNA gives you psychological confidence and a clear walkaway point.
So you know your bottom line.
Use Glassdoor, levels.fyi, PayScale, and industry-specific salary surveys to establish the market range. Document at least 8 to 12 comparable positions with salary data. Then calculate 3 numbers. Your walkaway salary, that's your BATNA. Your target salary, that's what you're aiming for. And your stretch number, that's ambitious but defensible, maybe 10 to 15% above your target.
Give me a concrete example of how someone would do this research.
Imagine you're interviewing for a senior product manager role at a startup in San Francisco. You'd research comparable roles at Google, Airbnb, and similar mid-sized startups. Let's say you find that Google pays $165,000 to $190,000. Airbnb pays $155,000 to $185,000. And mid-sized startups pay $140,000 to $165,000.
So you've got data from multiple sources.
Then you determine. Your walkaway is $140,000. Maybe you have another offer at $142,000. Your target is $160,000. Your stretch is $175,000. Now you're prepared with specific, defensible numbers.
And what about the achievements piece?
For every major accomplishment, quantify the impact in dollars, percentages, or measurable outcomes. For example, led product launch generating $3.2 million in year-over-year revenue. Or, increased daily active users 45% through A/B testing. These aren't just tasks, they're business impact.
So you're connecting your work to business results.
Professionals who can articulate their value in terms of business impact achieve 25 to 30% higher salary outcomes than those who frame it around personal needs.
Wait, so people frame it around personal needs?
Unfortunately, yes. That's the second biggest mistake. Someone says, I need $70,000 because my rent increased, my student loans are expensive, and I have childcare costs.
So that backfires?
Completely. Employers don't care about your personal financial situation. They care about labor market value and budget constraints. Using personal needs as justification signals that you lack confidence in your market value.
So what's the right framing?
You'd say, based on my research of market rates for this role in this location, and considering my experience managing $2 million in annual budgets, I'm targeting $72,000 to $76,000. This aligns with compensation for similar roles at comparable companies.
That's data-driven, not emotion-driven.
And negotiations framed around market value and business impact succeed 70 to 85% of the time. Those framed around personal need? Only 25 to 35% success rate.
Okay, so let's walk through the actual negotiation conversation. You've done your research, you receive an offer, what happens next?
This is where the anchoring effect comes into play. The first number presented in any discussion becomes a psychological reference point that unconsciously influences all subsequent decisions.
Can you explain the anchoring effect?
The anchoring effect is a cognitive bias. When the first number is presented, whether it's the employer's offer or your counter request, your brain uses it as a reference point. All subsequent judgments are made relative to that anchor.
So the first number really matters.
It determines the outcome. Professionals who set the first anchor earn an average of 5 to 10% more than those who wait for the employer's offer. And here's a fascinating detail. Precise anchors, like $98,500, are 18 to 25% more effective than round numbers like $100,000.
Why is that?
Because precision signals data-driven research. It tells the employer you didn't just pick a nice-sounding number, you actually analyzed market rates and calculated your value.
So when you receive an offer, what do you say?
First, don't respond immediately. Buy yourself time. Say, thank you for this offer. I'm genuinely excited about the opportunity and the team. I'd like to take 24 to 48 hours to review this thoughtfully and follow up with any questions. Is that timeline workable?
Why delay?
Because it prevents reactive decision-making. You need time to compare the offer against your research and prepare your counteroffer. Plus, it signals that you're thoughtful and professional, not desperate.
And then what?
Then you respond collaboratively. Template. Thank you for the offer of $155,000. I'm genuinely excited about this role and convinced I can deliver significant value here. Before accepting, I'd like to discuss the compensation based on my research and the value I'll bring to the team. Can we schedule a brief call to explore this?
So you're inviting discussion, not issuing an ultimatum.
Then, in your written response or call, you establish your anchor with data-backed numbers. Based on my research, comparable roles in this market typically fall in the $160,000 to $185,000 range. Given my experience launching high-impact features, I'm targeting $170,000 base plus $20,000 bonus. I'm open to structuring this in ways that work for your budget. Could we explore options?
That phrase, I'm open to structuring this. Why does that work?
Because it signals flexibility and collaboration. You're inviting them to problem solve with you, and it opens up negotiation beyond just base salary.
Right, because there are other components to negotiate.
This is the fourth common mistake: only negotiating salary and ignoring benefits, equity, and flexibility. When the employer says, "Our salary budget is fixed at $68,000, most people accept and walk away. But that's when you should expand the negotiation.
Like what?
Signing bonus, annual bonus structure, equity or stock options, vacation days, remote work flexibility, professional development budget, accelerated promotion timeline. Research shows that when base salary hits a ceiling, 70 to 80% of negotiators successfully improve at least one other compensation dimension.
So how would you phrase that?
You'd say, "I appreciate your transparency about the salary range. I'm committed to this role and team. Let's explore other ways we can structure this package to be mutually beneficial. Are there options for a signing bonus, accelerated review schedule after 90 days, additional vacation days, or a professional development budget?"
So you're acknowledging their constraint while finding creative solutions.
A $5,000 signing bonus, extra week of vacation, and accelerated raise timeline might be easier to approve than $5,000 more in base salary.
Let's talk about silence. Why is silence a powerful tool?
After you've presented your counteroffer, stop talking. Don't justify further. Let silence hang. The other party will feel psychological pressure to fill it, often improving their offer or revealing flexibility.
That's tactical empathy, right?
Tactical empathy means using active listening to systematically extract information that reveals the employer's constraints, priorities, and flexibility. Superior negotiators approach negotiations as investigations rather than presentations.
How do you do that?
Ask open-ended questions. What factors went into determining this salary amount? Where might we have room to work if base salary is firm? Then listen strategically. When you paraphrase what someone said back to them, they unconsciously elaborate and reveal underlying motivations.
Give me an example of how that plays out.
Let's say the employer says, "Our budget is maxed out at $85,000. You paraphrase, "So, if I understand correctly, the department budget has a hard ceiling at $85,000 for this role." They respond, "Well, the department budget does, but we might have flexibility in the signing bonus or accelerated review schedule." See, they just revealed where actual flexibility exists.
Oh, so you're listening for what they're not saying explicitly.
People state positions. We can't go above $85,000, but reveal interests. We need to stay within this department's budget structure. Listening for interests reveals where flexibility actually exists.
Okay, so let's talk about the gender dynamics you mentioned earlier. What advice do you have specifically for women negotiating?
Since women face rejection more frequently, despite asking just as often, the language and framing matter even more. Women should adopt collaborative language explicitly. Instead of direct assertion, frame it as partnership. Let's work together to find a solution that works for both of us.
So, softer language?
Not softer, collaborative. And preemptively address potential objections. For example, "You might think I'm pushing too hard, but fair compensation is important to my long-term commitment to this role and team."
Because it addresses the potential backlash before it happens.
Research shows that when women use assertive negotiation tactics, they trigger social penalties more readily than men using identical language. But collaborative framing and preemptive acknowledgement change that dynamic.
That's really practical advice. So let's recap the key terms we've talked about today.
The main ones were BATNA, anchoring effect, tactical empathy, and drill down into. BATNA means best alternative to negotiated agreement, your plan B. The anchoring effect is when the first number presented becomes the psychological reference point. Tactical empathy is active listening to extract information about constraints and flexibility. And drill down into means to examine something in detail.
So our listeners can use these terms when they're preparing for negotiations or in actual salary conversations.
And remember, these aren't just salary negotiation concepts. These apply to any business negotiation: vendor contracts, partnership terms, project budgets.
So Sarah, what's the one thing you want people to take from this episode?
Salary negotiation isn't about confidence or charisma. It's about strategy, data, and preparation. If you invest 3 to 5 hours preparing, researching market rates, documenting your achievements, clarifying your BATNA, you'll secure $3,000 to $15,000 in immediate salary gains. That's a 600 to 3,000% return on time invested, and it compounds for your entire career.
That's powerful. Have you negotiated salary before? What worked for you? Let us know in the comments or share your experience.
And if you try one of these techniques, especially the precise anchor or strategic silence, come back and tell us what changed.
Incredible energy today. Sarah, you nailed every single insight.
Likewise, Marcus. And listeners, if this episode sparked one, "Oh, that's how I should handle that" moment, then we've done our job. Take one tip and run with it in your next interview prep.
Your commitment to showing up and getting better never goes unnoticed. Thanks for investing your time with us today. It means more than you know.
Don't be shy about passing this along to a friend who's job hunting or leveling up. We all need that extra edge, and sharing knowledge is how we lift each other up.
Next episode, we're cracking open behavioral interview questions and the STAR method. They're testing you in sneaky ways you might not even realize.
We're breaking down the exact framework that wins: how to structure your answers so they land with impact, showcase your value, and leave interviewers thinking, "We need this person."
If you've got interviews coming up or just want to be ready when opportunity knocks, this is absolutely essential listening.
Until next time, keep believing in your story, keep refining how you tell it, and remember, you've got what it takes.
Catch you soon, and thanks for being here.
Can't wait to dive back in with you all next episode.
Business Essentials Podcast. Unlock your career.
Learn to speak business English like a pro.